Layer visibility in the Model tab is very easy to do. All you do is select a layer from the layer pull-down. So for example, if I go up the list here and look for something like, let's say, my gradient fill for grass, if I actually switch that layer off, it disappears. If I switch it on again, it comes back. If I freeze it, it disappears. If I thaw it, it comes back. But that globally changes that setting. So let's say that I switch off the grass gradient fill layer like that. If I go and look in my layout tabs now, let's say my A1 landscape GA there, it's gone there, and it's also gone there in the landscape details as well. So if I go now and switch that back on, watch the viewports. Let's go back up now, and there it is there, the gradient grass layer. If I switch it back on, it comes back in all the viewports there, as you can see. It's also back in the GA layout as well. Now, that's a global setting. What would be nice is if I could switch certain layers off or thaw or freeze certain layers in viewports. So what we're going to do there, let's have a look at our GA layout here. So let's zoom in. And as you can see, there's lots of objects there. And in the GA, I suppose really you don't really want to switch anything off. But what about details? Now this is where obviously, you're looking at different details on the drawing. So let's zoom in on the top left viewport there. Now what I want to look at there is the frontage of the house. I don't want to see the hard standing. There's some text there I don't want to see. So let's go and have a look at some of the layers that I can switch off in this viewport. If I double click to make the viewport active, I can actually do this on the layer pull down list in 2010. So if I click on the down arrow there, look, it's this symbol here. This symbol allows me to freeze or thaw in the current viewport. So let's go back up to that gradient fill again for the grass. There it is. If I actually click that icon there, it disappears. If I find the landscaping layer, let's look for that one as well. And we've got there it is, it's the shrubs layer. So if I thaw that one, the shrubs disappear as well. There's also a hard standing gradient layer there as well. Notice the little symbol there, it looks like a snowflake telling you it's frozen in the current viewport. Now the last one is the text layer, that's down here, so let's do that one as well. And now when I click away, all I've got is the frontage of the house, exactly what I want. So let's just double click outside that viewport, and that's now set with just the frontage of the house for me to look at. Let's pan across now, and here look, the summer house, again there's some text in the way, and there's also some landscaping in the way there, trees, shrubs, the gradient fill and the landscaping. So let's do that. Let's double click in the viewport. Let's check that layer there on the edge. Which one's that? That's the shrubs layer. So what we'll do there, we'll just hit escape there to deselect, and we'll find those layers. Let's find the text layer. That's an easy one. So we'll do that one there. Let's freeze that in the current viewport. That text has gone. Let's scroll up now. So we want to do those shrubs again. There's the shrubs there. So we'll do that in the viewport. And also we need that gradient grass there. Let's do that in the viewport. And now when I click away and double click to deactivate the viewport, all I've got is the summer house in that viewport. Looks perfect, doesn't it? It's an exactly isolated view of the summer house. So let's pan upwards now and have a look at the living area here. Again, we've got all this stuff around the outside. I don't want any of the shrubs or anything, or even the sprinklers for that matter. So let's double click inside the viewport. Let's go and find the sprinklers. Where are they? Are the sprinklers there anywhere? Let's have a look. There they are. Let's find sprinklers first. They're all gone. Let's go and find that hard standing now. Again, click on the little square with the sun symbol, turns to a snowflake. Let's also do the gradient grass. That needs to go as well. Also that shrubs layer. That needs to go too. And you'll see now that when I click away, all I've got is the living area of the house. Double click to deactivate the viewport each time. So I pan across now, and we're looking at the pond area now. So what I'd like to do now is maybe lose some of these items in the house, maybe, so that all I've got is the wall of the house showing. So we've got things like furniture, internal walls, lighting, workbenches and sockets and things. Let's do those. So double click inside the viewport. Now the sockets layer there, even though it's the current layer, I can still do that there. It doesn't matter because I'm only thawing it in the current viewport. What I also need to do there is find the internal walls there. There's internal walls there. Let's do those. They've gone as well. And also we need to find the furniture layer. There it is there. Let's do that one. So we're clicking just on that little viewport symbol there. And also as well, internal lighting. There's a light there. That's standard lamp. Let's do that as well. That goes as well. Let's click away now. got the workbench to do. So let's do that as well. Let's find the workbench. There it is. Freeze that in the current viewport as well. Double click, and there you go. You can see the pond and the landscaping nice and neatly. Double click outside the viewport to deactivate. Do a zoom extents as well. So that's your view tab. And in the navigate extents. And there we go. A much neater setup in the layout there. Now what we can do is we can do a quick preview there in our output here. So we go to output, do a preview of that, and it'll kick in now, and there's our preview. Look how neater and tidier that looks. Obviously without all those layers, all you've got is the landscaping here in the landscaping viewport. You've got the summer house, the end of the house with the front door, and the living area. I'll right click and exit that now, and we're back in our drawing there. And what I'll do now is just make sure that everything looks the way it should. Go back to the model, and then what I'd more than likely do there is save the drawing. But notice in the model there, none of those layers are turned off. All we've done is freeze them in the current viewport.